Conceive, believe, achieve.
This is former UFC middleweight champion of the world, Michael Bisping.
Paddy the Baddy here. You're listening to Combat Sports UK.
And you're watching Combat Sports UK.
Hello, welcome. I am Scott Bogie from Combat Sports UK, speaking with Gus Villamil ahead of his upcoming fight at Cage Fury. How are you doing today?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me.
Now, you're coming up against a 5-1 prospect in Max Quinones. How do you see this fight playing out?
Honestly, I'm super motivated by the mere fact he's a prospect. Like every fighter knows, defeating a prospect, beating a prospect definitely sets you up in the rankings and being more noticed by the bigger promotions. At the end of the day, I'm not here to fight regionally. Obviously, the goal as a professional fighter is to fight at the highest level in the UFC, and me finishing somebody like my next opponent will definitely open those doors for me and get those eyes on me.
Definitely. And no one should be sleeping on you either, because you are coming into this fight on the back of a free fight winning streak. So you have got that record as well. Now, in your last fight, you were against Rashad Robinson, and you were able to get the submission victory. How did you feel the fight was going up until that point?
I'm super confident. I've said it before. I don't train for these regional opponents. I'm not the way I train, my technical abilities, my conditioning, and all of that. I believe I'm already ready for the UFC level. So going into that fight, I was beyond confident. Not to say I take my opponent lightly. I'm a professional at the end of the day. I know that it's a fight. Anything can happen. But losing doesn't even cross my mind. It's not something I can fathom.
Yeah, exactly. And what have you, since that fight, what have you gone on to then improve on just for this fight coming up?
Honestly, everything. I have an amazing team behind me. Very, very, very smart coaches. This isn't a game of just grit and hard work. You have to have the science behind it. You have to come into it smart. This is a chess match. It's no longer like the UFC one days that that just being strong and powerful will get you far. Especially at the highest level. So treating this as if it were a championship fight is exactly, what I'm doing, down to, diet, studying, training, my privates I have with my coach every single day, just keeping it fight specific to my fight, and, keeping a game plan and staying to the game plan when the fight starts.
Exactly. And if you are able to get a victory against him, is there anyone you are wanting to call out?
It's not who, it's what. I'm I believe ready when it comes to branding, personality, fighter, everything. The way I talk, the way I walk, the way I fight. I do believe I should be given the opportunity to fight in the UFC. I believe I'll deserve it after this victory.
Yep, and your record definitely shows that you are ready for that caliber. If say the UFC shot doesn't come and the Cage Fury are able to offer you a rematch with Christopher Daniel, would that be something you would be interested in? Because when I was looking at you, he has defeated you twice.
Definitely, that would be wonderful. That's definitely a fight I would love to get back. Feel like I didn't not necessarily train at all for that fight. Went into that fight overly confident, and Chris had a good game plan and stuck to it. And I feel like now the fighter I am compared to that fighter back then is two completely different people. I don't even know that guy who fought Chris Daniels that day. But yeah, that would be something I'd be interested in.
Exactly, and he is doing his own thing currently over in Octagon. I think he did just recently lose to Aaron Abbey, but hopefully, if he is able to get a few more wins, he can get signed to the UFC and you can have that fight in the UFC under that banner.
That would be even better. That would be an easy fight for me to have in the UFC.
With the Cage Fury, do you think they are starting to get a lot more eyes focused on them just due to the recent signings? You now have Kyle Dawkins, who was in the UFC. He is the middleweight champion. You have his brother Chris, and he's fighting the heavyweight title fight, and he is fighting another UFC veteran. Do you think these people coming into this organization is putting more eyes on it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's dope to see some of the veterans, I guess, or people for that used to fight in the UFC coming to these promotions. Um, it definitely puts some motivation on me, especially being the co-main event. But I know what I bring to the table. I know that I have a lot of eyes on me too, so I don't really focus on them, and I just focus on myself.
And speaking about organizations, this is your first fight in Cage Cage Fury as a pro. How is this compared to the other organizations you have fought in? Because I know you have fought in Titan FC as well as Action Fight League.
So yeah, I've been main event before. I've been the co-main event on Fight Pass, so I'm used to it. Pressure doesn't really get to me. I've been competing um since I was 14 years old. So competing in front of people or competing on a big stage, um, that really doesn't affect me whatsoever. I do love that this fight is on UFC Fight Pass. It's a lot more credible fighting on UFC Fight Pass, especially for me in my career. So it's dope. It's just another day in the office, honestly.
And do you think your wrestling will play a big factor in this fight?
Yeah, I think every single avenue of my fight game, um, very very technical in every sense. I've focused on my striking, my wrestling. I just feel is way too high level for a lot of these guys at the regional level, even at the UFC level.
And if you were to get into that UFC, is there anyone that you are wanting to fight first? Maybe you treat it as a stepping stone, or just wanting as big a fight as you can.
Just just trying to get my foot in the door. Whoever they give me, I'm all for it.
That's great to hear. Now, if you guys haven't already, make sure you get some tickets for the Cave Fury FC. It is in Florida, which is your hometown. Do you think that does give you that advantage as fighting at home?
It's in my home state, but it won't be in my hometown. Um, it's up in Tampa, so about 4 or 5 hours from me. It doesn't really, honestly, it doesn't affect me whatsoever whether I was fighting in Alaska or across across the world in the UK. Um, Honestly, it's just once that cage door closes, I just feel at home no matter where I'm at.
Perfect. And I know that you will be able to get that victory. Thank you for coming on it here tonight.
Appreciate it, brother. I appreciate it. Thank you
And
so much for having me.
make sure that you either get tickets for the event or tune in at UFC Fight Pass. It's going to be a great fight no matter what. And hopefully you're able to get that victory.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.